Hey everybody, and welcome to another JASP tutorial. In this tutorial, I want to revisit a previous tutorial that I have done on the channel about a year ago, actually, slightly more than a year ago. Episode 17, I'll drop it in a card in the top right corner there. It was a tutorial on the mediation analysis through the SEM module in JASP here, and that was on 0.12.2, excuse me. On this particular tutorial, we're going to use the current build of 0.14.1. I always seem to get that one wrong. Can't talk at all this morning. In any case, we are going to do a canned example because we're exploring this mediation analysis module again for two reasons. The first reason is I got a comment recently about using accessible data sets. So moving forward, that's the idea. On the previous mediation analysis video that I've done on my channel, I used a data set that was only accessible to me and that I will not be sharing. So I will be using a data library data set in this particular video. The second reason is that in the previous video, I only did a simple mediation model, where there was only one mediator. And so I want to explore the module, the mediation function here as a more complex model will allow. And so we'll explore this in a slightly faster way, but in any case, additional information. And then we'll also talk about this background confounders thing. So let's jump right into it. What data are we planning to use? So the data that I chose for this canned example is something that I think is going to be useful and easy to follow along. And the idea that I have here is using the Big Five personality traits from Dolan et al. 2009. That is specifically used to show how the correlation module works, but we're going to just close that. Now, the description will remain, but in any case, I just want to use this one because there's no fancy statistics. It's just Likert scale responses, 500 cases of just the 5 variables of the Big Five personality model. So that's what we're going to do with this one. Fairly simple. And we're going to set up a mediation model with a predictor, an outcome, and 2 mediators. So how we do this, if you recall, is we go up into SEM and we go into mediation analysis. And you can see the description remains here. So you can keep an eye on those variables that I choose here. So by default, comes up with the parameter estimate tables. We're obviously going to get a few more. Neuroticism, I am going to make my predictor. And now just to remind everyone, if you've seen the Big Five before, or to let everyone know who hasn't seen the Big Five before, neuroticism is oppositely coded. It's reverse coded. It's a dimension that is opposite to the other 4. So you're going to see a lot of negatives in the outputs here. So the estimates are going to be negative because neuroticism is negatively correlated with the other 4 traits. So just keep that in mind. Some personality researchers have flipped neuroticism to be in the same direction as the other 4 by calling it emotional stability. But in this particular one this data from more than a decade ago, they still use neuroticism. So it is reverse to the other 4. So just keep that in mind as we look at all of these pathings. So what we're going to predict is we're going to put agreeableness in the outcome box. So this is our dependent variable. This is our independent variable. Well, for certain manner of speaking. And then we are going to put extroversion and conscientiousness as my mediator. So this makes it more complex. Now, before we move on to the output, let's click some options. Let's get our standardized estimates because that's always a good thing to have. Let's get our Lavon syntax just in case we want to plop that into R and do more fancy stuff to the data. And let's, of course, get our R squareds for our pathing. Additional parameter estimates are checked by default. So getting the total indirect effect, which is the direct effect minus the total effect, or the total effect minus the direct effect, something like that. So it is a difference value. And then let's go ahead and get our residual covariances. Why not? Why not? Now, confidence interval is 0.95, but you can always change this if you want. And then our method for calculating the mediation is by standard, robust, or bootstrap. I'm just going to leave it as standard, just so we're not stuck here watching, even though I would edit them out, we're not stuck here watching the computer trying to calculate all of the values here. Of course, we want our model plot. We're going to grab our parameter estimates and our legend because it will abbreviate our variables inside the parameter boxes. And then advanced, we're not going to do anything with, we're not going to change anything with, but just in case, I didn't go over it in my previous video. I don't remember if I did or not. Full information maximum likelihood for value. So if you have a value missing from one of these variables, will it use the information that exists in part of the pathing, or do you exclude all cases with at least one missing value? So that will change the calculations if you exclude cases listwise. You can emulate, although I think these emulation modes are best used for SEM as opposed to mediation models. And then you can use one of these particular estimators if you wanted to. Auto, as you can see, will probably default to maximum likelihood, but you can use generalized least squares, weighted least squares, unweighted least squares, and whatever DWLS is, D weighted least squares. I don't know, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and close these because we've pretty much checked all of the boxes, and let's go through the output. Okay, first thing I want to point out is the model syntax. So this is the model syntax, a little commented area here. It's a mediation model generated by JASP, just in case you wanted to share it with somebody. And you were like, where did the syntax come from? Well, it came from JASP, of course. Give them the credit they deserve. I would leave that in there. But then this gives you all of the information that then JASP uses to plop into its own tables, to plop into its APA tables, which is, I got to say, one of the better things about JASP is it already gives you APA tables, which is so lovely in any case. So that's the model syntax you can plop and take and put into R directly if you've got the Lavon package installed. I definitely recommend it if you are going back and forth between R, of course, or if you are a R user. All right, path model. Here is the path model. We have neuroticism, pathing to agreeableness, and then we have our mediators on top and bottom because that's generally how they are put in. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's not going to change too much of anything where the numbers get put. That's all automatic. So one thing I do want to point out then is that negative 0.18 is for the horizontal pathing, and the negative 0.06, which appears in the center of this, is for the vertical pathing, so extroversion to conscientiousness. Okay, so that is how you read those values there, and this will give you the whole kit and caboodle. Now you can see that there's a lot of negative values. Of course, anything that touches a neuroticism has a negative relationship with the other thing that it's touching. But then there are positive values between extroversion and agreeableness, and conscientiousness and agreeableness. So those are the positive pathing values, parameter estimates. Now if we go up here, this is broken down into our direct effects, our indirect effects, and our total effect. And then this is the total indirect effect, which is the difference value between the direct and total effect. Essentially, it's total effect minus direct effect gives you the total indirect effect. And you can use that value, the total indirect effect, to see whether or not there is a significant, significant change in the model itself. The total effect, which is no mediators, so just your predictor to your outcome. And then you can see whether or not the reduction by adding in those mediators is in and of itself significant. And so we'll go through that here. Okay, so I'm going to start with total effect. I know that it's not necessarily the one that people are wanting to look at. Like I'll just do a bivariate regression if I wanted the total effect, which is why it doesn't appear first here. But in any case, I like using it as a narrative starting point. So neuroticism to agreeableness without any mediators is a significant relationship. It's almost a 0.30 relationship. Okay, so we've got a p-value of 0.002, and our confidence interval does not include 0. Perfect. Negative 0.30. I'm, of course, rounding up there. Now, so that's the total effect. Now let's add in the mediators and see what happens to that effect. That's our direct effect, right? So neuroticism to agreeableness with the two mediators in there now reduces the estimate, the relationship between the two, to negative 0.18, and we see that down here. If we look at the p-value, it's 0.109 or 0.11, and the confidence interval now includes 0. So this direct effect is no longer significant. What about the mediations? So the indirect effect, we have a path for extroversion, and then we have a path for conscientiousness, two different lines. And while their estimates do look similar, the ones are in two different decimal places. So it's a little annoying, but recognize that. So extroversion, the mediation of extroversion to agreeableness is a very small estimate, and you can see that it is not a significant value, includes 0 there. Conscientiousness, on the other hand, is 0.104. And the p-value is 0.01, so less than a 0.05 value. And our confidence interval does not include 0. So that is a significant mediator. So extroversion does not mediate neuroticism to agreeableness, but conscientiousness does. And that makes some intuitive sense. And you can get your residual covariances here. That's the mediator relationship with each other, and we get a negative 0.06. So they're not really taking too much variance away from their mediation abilities. They're kind of related to each other, but not terribly too much. And you can see that the confidence interval includes 0. And then we have our R-squareds over here. So agreeableness 0.032. We sort of recognize here that that direct effect is no longer significant. And extroversion 0.123 and conscientiousness 0.135. Okay. Now the total indirect effect here was it a significant decrease when we added the mediators, and primarily conscientiousness here because extroversion doesn't really do much. So the answer is yes, we have an estimate of negative 0.12, and if we look at the p-value, it's 0.036 or 0.04. And the 95% confidence interval does not include 0. So there is a significant decrease in the relationship between neuroticism and agreeableness because of the two mediators, mostly conscientiousness. Okay, so that is how you analyze and interpret the outcome of a 2 or more mediation model. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is the background confounders box here. I thought maybe that the background confounders would be a weird way of phrasing moderators. So you could do moderation in JASP. But it turns out you cannot do moderation in this module. There is no moderation, as far as I can tell. It's not glaring at you like the medmod module in Jamofi. I thought maybe this would be for moderators, but it really is just partialing out variance. So let me show you with our last variable, plopping that into background confounders. So before we take a look at the change over there, you can see here that openness doesn't actually have any parameter estimates. And it has dashed lines, dashed arrow lines going to our 4 other variables. What is happening here, and you can see this more clearly in the syntax, because I'll show you before I show you the syntax, there is no openness in any of these outputs, no openness at all. But you can see here that it's confounder adjustment. So what it really is just bivariate regression of openness on all of these values before they go into any of these dependent or mediator regressions. So that is to say that openness is being regressed on, or these are being regressed on openness. I can't remember the exact order. I always forget the exact order of those verbings. So anyways, openness is you're doing bivariate regressions, 4 different bivariate regressions, and taking out the variance that openness shares with all of these 4 and leaving what's left, which changes the pathing, of course. Now, the only thing that doesn't change is the negative 0.06 between conscientiousness and extroversion, and that's because openness doesn't touch those two with respect to this model. Let me see if you make it bigger like that. Makes it less smushed, that's for sure. Less smushed. So that is what's happening with the confounder adjustment here. And when you go back to the mediation model, you can see that the values have changed. So let's look at total effect, like I like to do first. And you can see that the estimate is smaller than it was before. It's, I would say, little more than half decrease there. I think it was like negative 0.3. Now it's negative 0.13. Still a significant predictor. Neuroticism to agreeableness. Our confidence interval does not include 0. Now, if we go up to our direct effect, so we're now including extroversion and conscientiousness in this relationship, we have an estimate of negative 0.097 or negative 0.1. And you can see that there's only a decrease here of negative 0.035. So what happens with this estimate? Is it now significant? Almost. I won't say that it is because I am no longer in that marginal camp anymore. It almost is. If we had added 100 more people doing the exact same thing as these other 500 people, we might see a change there. That neuroticism does have a direct impact on agreeableness without extroversion and conscientiousness, even though they're in the variance. And there's a reason why this is at 0.05 right here, and that is because the 95% in confidence interval includes 0, and that's because this number is essentially 0. Negative times 10 to the negative 4 power, that's essentially 0, right? That's such a tiny little number. And the indirect effects now. So the mediator effect from extroversion. Not as bad as it was before. It was like the p-value was like 0.7. Now it's 0.5. Still not good. The confidence interval includes 0. So extroversion still not doing much between neuroticism and agreeableness. Conscientiousness still significant, 0.009. Confidence interval does not include 0. The estimate is smaller, negative 0.05, negative 0.047. Still a changes the variance between neuroticism and conscientiousness. Still changes it. Not as much as before, because openness changed how conscientiousness was working from neuroticism to agreeableness, which makes some sense. All of this hopefully makes some intuitive sense. Okay, and then you can see that the decrease itself, when you add in extroversion and conscientiousness, so the total indirect effect, that is the change from the total effect to the direct effect, is small and now no longer significant, right? So extroversion wasn't doing anything anyways. Conscientiousness is now not changing the direct relationship between the two that much anymore. So that's what happens when you get rid of the confounding variables that might be in. So openness changed conscientiousness in a way that reduces its impact from neuroticism to agreeableness, versus the previous model without openness as a confound adjustment. So that is complex mediation in JASP. I know it was a lot. I hope it was you could follow along. Definitely listen to me slower, even though I do kind of talk a bit fast. Slow me down. for this particular one. If you have any comments, suggestions, or feedback, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you like this video, consider leaving a like. If you like this content, consider subscribing for more tutorials, psych, whatever. Thanks for watching.